Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Chubbs Reviews. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I'm here to bring you a review every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today, we're talking about a JRPG known as Tales of Vesperia. Tales of is a JRPG franchise or series made by Bandai Namco. There's a bunch of Tales of games like Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Zestiria, Tales of Symphony, Abyss. I mean, they don't all rhyme, but there's a bunch of different ones. This is my first entry into the Tales series, and this is the one that I heard the most positive things about. And my brother thoroughly recommended it to me over and over again. And just the internet, like even now, like looking up some other reviews to see if anyone felt the way I do about this game. Just no one really does, and if they do, they just don't feel as strongly about it as me. And the reason I say that is, okay, like if you like this game and you're a JRPG fan, that's cool. But I didn't like this game. I've been playing this game for like within over the span of like 2 months, like just kind of on and off. I really went hard at it at first, got to like 30 hours, 35 hours. Then I stopped because I was just bored and like there's a lot of things I don't like about the game and I'll get into it. Then I picked it back up again, played about another 10 hours, bored, put it down, played like I picked it right up after I played Persona 5 Rail, so maybe I had that, comparison flaw. I picked it up again after I finished Final Fantasy 7 Original. So maybe I'm just comparing it to the wrong things. But even when I compare this to like Dragon Quest 11, but then again, this is also Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. It's a JRPG, open world, just like your standard but it's also an action JRPG. It's not turn based. You basically just button mash, and you have arts, which are like, uh, you have your hit points and your arts bar, and you basically do basic attacks, and you can add an art at the end of certain basic attacks. Sometimes you get a meter that you can pop off, and you'll just have unlimited stamina, so you can constantly do a bunch of arts. Or when you're basic attacking, you can only do like 3 or 4 basic attacks at a time, and then you stop. I don't know. I just didn't like this combat overall. I definitely prefer a turn-based system. Not that I hate action RPGs. Honestly, I haven't found a good one. I mean, I have found some good action RPGs. Obviously, there are some out there, The Witcher and stuff like that. But not like a Japanese one. Like I didn't like Final Fantasy VII Remake's combat as much as everyone else. I didn't like what else has combat like this? I can't think. But I don't love the combat like this. A lot of people I guess do. It just feels a bit outdated too. It's not that I don't like the combat like this. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake just did it wrong. I think this game just feels outdated in every sense of the way. Even though it's a definitive edition with all of its DLC and shit like that. Like for one thing I did like was the outfits I got because it's the definitive edition. One thing I didn't like with the definitive edition is this brand new character, this fucking pirate character, this pirate little girl, looking for her daddy's treasure or whatever. My brother said she was never in the game when he played, which means he probably played the base version, and she was some DLC. Oh, and I hate her. I hate her. She has the same voice as the really annoying voiced girl on Big Bang Theory. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? I think her name's Penny. Or no, maybe it's not Penny. That's the hot one. The other one that's just the super annoying high pitched voice that's on Big Bang Theory. That is literally this girl's voice, and I hate it. Sorry to the voice actor or voice actress, but it's just wow. And her story was pointless and boring, and I hated every time that character talked. Another thing is the characters overall I really did love, and that's what Tales of games are supposed to be about, is the characters. And then you even have these like skits that come up where you press a button and like your people in your group have full on conversations about everything. There's like hundreds of those skits in the game, and those are really cool. But they just the characters themselves I didn't love. There was like 3 characters I liked out of the group. There's like they almost have like the Final Fantasy problem. I'm comparing a lot to Final Fantasy 7 in my head and playing this because they have like the main character Yuri, which is kind of like Cloud. He's just not kind of like Cloud, but that's just the main character. And then we have a mage kind of second main character that has a really sad story and just has a lot of shit going on because she's the chosen powerful one that gets energy from the world, just like Aerith. And then we have this Estelise girl, which I like her story, but it kind of goes all over the place and kind of there's like overall there's no I don't feel any tenseness to this story, man. Like when bad things happen, we just kind of get away with it. When people die, they just kind of come back to life. Some good things I do like about it. Yuri has some really cool scenes where this game, and this is also kind of a flaw. I don't know if this game wants to be like a kids kind of game, feeling like Dragon Quest. Like Dragon Quest is very like I could give that to my 12-year-old nephew or something, and he would love it. You know what I'm saying? this game and Tales of Vesperia has some of those moments, but then it has some where Yuri turns into this savage killer and he goes out in the middle of the night and murders someone like desperately or watches them die, and it's actually really cool. And Yuri's voice actor at that time is Troy Baker, which he does a phenomenal job as Yuri. But then, but there's no consequences to that. It kind of comes back later, but not really. Also, with the voice acting, some scenes are voice acted by Troy Baker, and some have different voice actors for some characters, just because of the whole new edition. And it's actually very like pulverizing. I can tell for some of the characters, especially Yuri. So yeah, there's that. The story just felt like it kept going on and on. I couldn't even tell you what the story was about because they never really give you an end goal. It's kind of just a journey and like no end goal besides save the world by the end, like every JRPG. And I'm gonna be open too. I haven't finished this game, like I said. That's why I've been playing it for so long. Because I was sitting here kind of towards the end of one of the big final bosses, right? And I have to grind a little bit because this game has level gating, so I have to grind a little bit to get to a level. I really don't mind that, but it made me just sit here and think, do I even really care about the ending of this game? I could probably look up the ending of this game, and it would just have no effect, because that's just how, like, most of the story goes. The characters are cool with what they say and how they interact with what's going on, but the story itself has no effect on anything, it feels like. I just don't know why. Like, even though we saved the world, that's what all it's gonna be. It's not gonna be like anyone's gonna learn something or die or sacrifice themselves. I just know that's not gonna happen. It's just, they've already did that, like, and like, it's not that they've already done that, but it's just like, I just know it's not gonna happen. And if they do it, they're gonna bring whoever that is back to life. You know what I'm saying? It's just dumb, or they're just gonna cheap out. There's also a shit ton of puzzles I didn't like. There's a shit ton of moments where they force you to talk to everyone in your group, but they scatter them out in an area, and you have to go find them, and you can't leave that area till you talk to all of them. You're forced, which I kind of like, but they don't tell you where anyone is, and it's like frustratingly stupid. Like, I hate some of these moments. There's not really random encounters in this, but you'll be walking and enemies will spawn kind of next to you and then run at you, and you can see where they spawn. So it's not terrible. It's not Final Fantasy VII, but it is not the most perfect thing. Overall, the art style looks okay. I don't mind it, but then there's no good animations really. There's a few like actual anime scenes, and those are alright. There's some CGI scenes that are horrible looking today. That definitely make more of an imprint in my head than the cool looking anime scenes. But yeah, the characters themselves and walking around, animations are stiff as hell. There's no, I would say there's little to no, what do you call it, mouth movement. I don't know why I don't know the words, but just, characters don't move their mouths when they're talking. That's what I'm trying to say. And just my immersion is constantly being broken in this game because of how much I'm just disliking it, or I'm frustrated, or I'm bored, or I just don't like the combat, or the combat just turns into this button mashing and waiting. Like, I could look at my phone half the time while I'm doing the combat, and I'm just bored. I know everyone loves this game on the internet. This is the Tales of game that everyone recommends. I just think it's definitely very outdated. Unless you're a super JRPG fan, which you've probably already played this, but I wouldn't recommend this to everyone like the internet does. I would recommend this to very few people, and people not like me. I am gonna give the Tales of series another try. I'm not a complete I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I do have Tales of Vesperia, which is the newest Tales of game. Tales of Vesperia, the one I'm reviewing now, came out about, I think, over a decade ago, like 10 plus years ago. So that's probably why I have a lot of problems with it, but I just played Final Fantasy VII Original, and I love that game, so I don't know. Vesperia also doesn't explain a lot of things. They don't explain, like, how you equip some skills, or you have to, like, my brother had to show me. They don't, there's apparently a bunch of hidden side quests and hidden things to do in the game that'll give you extra dialogue later, but I don't know where they are, not a clue. And I have no interest into finding it out. The characters themselves, they have a cool dog named Jrpg. He doesn't really get any backstory. The main character, Yuri, has a complete opposite looking guy named Flynn, that they both grew up together and they both want to change the world, but completely separate ways. Hence how I said Yuri goes about killing people in the middle of the night, and Flynn he becomes a knight and tries to change it within the confines of the law. And they have some really great moments together. My favorite moments of the game are with these two guys kind of clashing but still being friends, but just some confrontations and that they get into. But then it just never comes back again, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day. They just get over it. They just come together to save the world. It's just, who cares? one of the mages in the game, her voice actor reminded me off of someone. Or it is the same voice actor as the teacher from Persona 5 Royal, and like, I don't know, it just threw me off the whole time. And I also just didn't like her acting in general in this game. The kid's story, there's a kid in the group named Carol. I mean, he's all right, kind of like the funny kid that talks a lot and eats a lot of your food. You can only have a limited amount of items in this game, which is a thing special to the Tales of series. 15 of pretty much every item, which is kind of cool. But then they also level gate you, so it's just a grindy game that I didn't care about the ending. You have to be invested in the characters to love it, and I'm not invested in the characters anymore because they don't give me any payoffs. I get no payoffs for being interested in storylines. And the combat, I also just don't like the combat. It's just preference. I didn't like Final Fantasy VII Remake's combat, and everyone loves that shit. I would have much preferred a turn-based game. Obviously, that's not what the Tales of game is. The Tales of game, none of them are turn-based. I just wanted a more fluid combat. Just teach me how to use my skills better. Maybe I wasn't doing something right, but I had 48 hours in this game, and I'm officially giving the fuck up and moving on to either another game or the Tales of Vesperia game itself. Overall, my final verdict for this game, I don't like there's no positives for this game, and for what I did like, some of the scenes and some of the moments, they don't have any payoffs, so they were for nothing anyway. So overall, my final verdict for this game, I was looking at my list because I have a list of all my rated games. It is the second least fun game I've ever played. I just because, like, at least Final Fantasy VII Remake had like really great graphics. Obviously, it's a remake, and like great voice acting and just the characters. Like, obviously, Remake, I hated to go watch my review on that on Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I still enjoyed that game and its music, obviously, more than everything in Tales of Vesperia. And it's just painfully average. The story goes on, and for no reason, and I'm just bored. So I'm gonna stop going on and on. My final verdict for this game is a 3 out of 10. My second lowest rating game ever, really, right above The Division 2. If you like this game, please don't hate me. I understand. And if the game looks good to you, go ahead and try it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.